It's Adore-Nisi and welcome back to my channel, or should I say welcome to my channel, because it has been a very long time since I have posted a video on here or even sat in front of a camera to record any type of content. So I know a lot of people may be confused as to like, girl, where you been? What's going on? Are you back on YouTube? Why haven't you been on YouTube? What's the tea? So yeah, I decided to make this video and give you all a life update about where I've been and why I took this hiatus from YouTube, and also what to expect from me coming up in the future. So if you are new here, please hit that subscribe button. If you are a subscriber that has been here since day one, welcome back and thank you so much for clicking on this video. And yeah, make sure to like this video, leave me a comment, share this video, and subscribe. So first, let's go ahead and address the elephant in the room, which is, where have you been? Why haven't you posted a video in almost 3 years? What's going on? So yeah, I haven't posted a video in a very long time for several reasons. I just wasn't feeling YouTube anymore, so I was like, let me just take a break. And not only that, I need to get my own life together. So I took a hiatus from YouTube and I went to go get my life together. And yeah, I think now I'm to the point where I'm able to, you know, come back to YouTube and start to push that content out again. But with that being said, let's just go ahead and start from the beginning. And yeah, they just start from the beginning. So I first started my channel like around 2014, 2015, and I was doing makeup. So my first video was a makeup tutorial. I think it was like a blue smoky eye or something like that. Years ago, I was in my college apartment in the bathroom recording the video. I had like a $200 camera and I was using Windows Movie Maker to edit. I posted my first video there, and then first I was nervous because I was like, okay, I'm doing this, but I'm like, why not? I've been watching YouTube for a very long time. I've been seeing people do this, you know, for years. So why not just go ahead and see if I can do it too? So when I first started YouTube, everything was going great. Like, I was getting feedback. I was connecting with people. I was communicating with subscribers. My subscriber count was going at a rate where I thought was good for someone starting off. My views were there. Like, everything was just going good. And so I even met other YouTubers, like YouTubers who I still talk to this day. And also I came across meeting people who I've been watching for years and years. And at that point, everything was going good, but I wasn't where I wanted to be with my channel. So I would constantly try to figure out new things to do, new avenues to go, so that way I could get my channel to the point where I wanted my channel to be. And so I was just doing makeup, I was doing lookbooks, I was doing outfit of the days. And yeah, everything was going good. Fast forward to about 2016 when I finally graduated from college. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm graduating from college. You know, I'm going to have this going to happen, that's going to happen. I have so much time to record videos, because at that point I was already at like a standstill with my channel. My channel wasn't seeing the growth that I expected it to go, and I wasn't getting the same feedback that I was getting when I first started YouTube. So that kind of put me at a standstill, because I was trying to figure out what to do next, or how can I get back to the YouTuber that I was before. So I graduated from college and I feel like everything just started going downhill. My drive for YouTube, it wasn't there anymore, because I was trying to focus on me getting my life together, and that was me finding a job, finding income, getting health insurance, different things like that. So I had to put YouTube on the back burner, because I just wasn't in the right mind to, like, you know, do YouTube anymore, because I had to get my personal life together. So even though I was going through all that, in the back of my head, sometimes I was thinking like, okay, well, maybe you could use this struggle as to connect with your audience. So I went to thought about doing different videos about college and different things like that, and story times, but it just wasn't working. I think I took too many breaks in YouTube, and then I came back with not enough strong content to gain that audience back and, you know, keep things going. So I was still at a standstill, and it was to the point where I decided to just start all over and create a new channel, a new name, and do videos on that channel. But still, it was no progress. It was nothing. Everything was like at a standstill. So at that point, I'm like, okay, I can't be stressing about YouTube, and I can't be stressing about my personal life with trying to find a job. So one of them had to go. And unfortunately, YouTube had to go, because YouTube wasn't my main focus. Me getting a job, me getting income was my main focus. That was the thing that I was really determined to do, and that was the only thing on my mind that I was willing to strive for. So I kind of pushed YouTube to the back burner because it just wasn't there anymore. And I'm like, okay, I'm not already getting this feedback anymore, so I can't just be stressed about both of the same things. I can't be stressed about both of these things. I can't be stressed about both of these things at the same time. So fast forward 2016, 2017, 2018, I'm looking for jobs. I'm trying to find jobs. Coming out of college, it's not as easy as people may think unless you know somebody. And me personally, I didn't know anyone who could just hand me a job and I could start working. Any job that I have ever gotten in my life, I did it on my own. I didn't get a job because of connects or anything like that. Like, any job I've got hired on, I did it by myself. And so it was harder to do that sometimes because everyone goes to college, everyone has bachelor degrees, and got all this competition. You don't really have experience. They want you to have experience, but how can you get experience if you're in school? So like, that's impossible. So I was just trying to focus on that. I went through a time where, very depressed, didn't want to do anything. I was just laying in bed all day and applied to like 100 jobs a day. And it was just so much. Like, throughout that time frame, I could count on my hands how many interviews and how many callbacks I got back. And just like interview after interview, disappointment after disappointment, it was just like, okay, I'm over this. So I finally got a job in 2018. I got a job. So I had got a job in 2018 for a law firm, which I hated. I absolutely hated that job. That was the worst job I've ever had in my life. If I was to see anybody that worked at the job, I would act like I don't know them. That's how bad I hated the job. Only a couple people I would speak to, but other than that, I hated that job. It was at a law firm. I was basically handling like the communications for the law firm. So that's any legal documents. That's subpoenas, settlement agreements, derogatories, discoveries, all kinds of stuff like that. I was basically the person who was sending that stuff out to the opposing counsel. That job was so toxic, that work environment was so toxic that I hated going to work every single day because the people there just felt like you were beneath them. And it was just like, they looked at us, they treated us how much we was getting paid. And it was very sad that people who obviously all had to start from somewhere will continue to look down on people based on where they are in their career right now, because I feel like we all have to start off from somewhere. And just because you are this fancy lawyer, this fancy paralegal, even the legal assistants was giving us attitude. And it's like, you a legal assistant, I mean, if you get off your high horse. But even people like that would still just look down on us and treat us the same way because we had this job title and we was making this amount of money. And that's one thing that I absolutely hated. We would get in trouble like every single week at that job, and I was just trying to stay a year so that way I could have a year of experience. But I wanted to quit that job like 2 months in, but I was like, Shanice, just stay a year, try to get that year of experience on your resume, and then you can move on. So I'm trying to stay a year, and then I'm also in the back of my head, I'm thinking, okay, I need to keep this job until I find another job. But this one day I was just over it, and I just turned in my resignation. But prior to that, I had decided to go back to grad school, and so I was applying to different grad schools, and I had received 4 acceptance letters to grad school. So that was kind of like my ticket out of that job, because even though I didn't have a job lined up, I still had a plan, which was going to school. And if I go to grad school, I'm fortunate enough to still have an income, and so I won't necessarily be just going to school with $0. And so I just went ahead and be like, okay, you know what, that's it, I'm leaving this job. I have school to fall back on. School will occupy my time, and I'm just going to focus on that and still apply to jobs as as I'm going to school. So I was just like, okay, well, as long as I'm going to school and I'll be okay, I can leave the job. So I just left and didn't look back. It was just very toxic place, and I was so happy to finally leave from that place. And so fast forward, I'm in grad school. I'm not going to talk too much about my grad school journey because I'm going to be recording videos talking about my grad school journey and giving tips. I'm not going to go too deep in detail in this video. So I'm in grad school. I'm getting the hang of everything. I'm writing papers. I'm applying to jobs here and there. And after a while, you know, you get bored being at home, because being at home 24/7, I did that for 2 years straight after I graduated from college. I don't want to do it again, but I wasn't too stressed out about it like I was back then. So I would apply to jobs, not really get feedback, different things like that. And so I came across a job that called me in for an interview. This was like in July of 2019, so July of last year. And you know, I'm just, you know, getting interviews and going through a round of interviews, and I'm thinking I'm, you know, a great candidate. The job is basic, the pay is basic, so I'm like, okay, cool, I can do this. I know I'll get the job. Turns out I didn't get the job, and that really did something to me, because I felt like I'm overqualified for this job. Number one, I know I can do this job to the best of my ability, and what the pay is, I'm willing to accept this job for what it's paying. But the thing that really irritated me was that the feedback I got made it seem like I was underqualified for the job. There's no way you can tell me, as a person who has a bachelor's degree, who is in school to get her master's, that she is underqualified to answer a phone or to work a computer and look up things in the system. So that is the issue that I had with that particular job, was that they made me feel like I wasn't qualified. They made me feel like I was underqualified, like I didn't have what it takes to do this job for them. And so a lot of times, a lot of feedback that I was hearing was that, well, we don't want you to, you know, get here and leave, blah, blah, blah. Which is understandable. But as an employer and as a human being, you should know that no human being is going to sit here and just accept $12 an hour for the rest of their lives. Just because people need somewhere to start, everyone needs somewhere to start. So we're going to probably accept, you know, their lower end pay, but you cannot expect the person to be there and make $12 an hour for the next 2 to 3 years of their life. You're out here making $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 a year, but you expect other people to continue to not get to where you are, but just settle for this $12 an hour. And so that is the issue that I had with that particular time, was that they just made me feel like I couldn't do the job. I don't care if my dreams doesn't include what this job is now. At the end of the day, this is just a job. This isn't a career. And as an employer who has a degree, who has multiple degrees, who is making this income, I would feel like people need to start understanding that. I feel like people should just give people an opportunity to show them what they have. Like, yes, I know, okay, it's a high turnover rate. You can't keep people in the job. But how do you expect for people to stay in the job if you're only going to pay them $12 an hour? $12 an hour is no money, especially if you're getting insurance taken out and other taxes taken out. That's no money. So as an employer, you should know that people aren't going to stay at this job very long. You should encourage people to not stay at their job very long. You wanting people to stay in that job and make $12 an hour just shows how selfish you are as a person and how selfish you all are as a company, a department, or whatever. Because I'm not going to sit here and settle for $12 an hour when I know that I deserve more. I am willing to accept it in order to get my experience going, but you cannot hold me at fault because my overall goals and dream doesn't include me making $12 an hour for the next 3 to 5 years of my life. No. Whew. So that job, that whole experience was horrible for me. Like, I hated it. I hated it. It was just horrible for me. And then, you know, like, you know what? It is what it is. Ain't no issue. It is what it is. And so I decided to join a temp agency. And, cause you know, sometimes temp agencies are very good at helping you get jobs. And so I joined a temp agency who happens to, the company that I went, that was one of their clients. So they were actually, you know, there to place people at this particular company. And so she calls me for an interview. She was like, hey, I have a job that you might be interested in. And the job happens to be the same job that I applied for and interviewed for back in July. very funny. And so at first I was like, I don't know. And then so I was like, well, I don't want to tell her, and she don't, you know, she look at me differently, because with temp agencies you have to kind of befriend them, because if you befriend them and you do what they want you to do and you like go on all these interviews, they're going to keep you in mind and keep calling you every time a job comes out. So I'm like, I don't know. So I was like, let me just talk to her. So I had talked to her, and she I had basically told her what happened. Like, this is the same job that I interviewed for back in July and I didn't get it. And she was like, what do you think, it'll be better if, you know, she like, you think it'll be better if you just, you know, go work for them like on a temporary contract basis? And I'm like, I don't know, problem. I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm not going to trip. I'm going to go ahead and go out for it again, because I knew they knew my name or whatever. And so I was like, okay, whatever, let's do it. Then I started thinking about it. I'm like, nah, we ain't doing that. So I called her back and I was like, yeah, I'm not going to go on interview. I was like, I interviewed with them before. They didn't want me then. I'm not going to waste my time and go up there for them to tell me they don't want me again. And she was like, you know, that's understandable or whatever. So fast forward a couple weeks later, she calls me for another interview possibility for a job in the same place that I recently just went to, but it was under a different manager. And so back, like, again, I'm like, why she keeps sending me to these people after I done told her I'm not dealing with them? And so she was like, well, she was like, and I told her, I was like, I don't know, like, these the same people. She was like, no, this is a different manager. You know, they gave you great feedback. They said that you were actually good, but someone else had more experience. Someone else used to work there, blah, blah, blah. Things I didn't care about. I'm like, okay, whatever. Let me just go and try and see what it is, you know, she has to say. So I went in for the interview. The interview was very laid back. They weren't even taking notes, which is sometimes a good sign for the interview. And so I went in for the interview. Everything's going great. They're asking me questions. One of the girls in the interview, I actually interviewed with her back in July. So not only that, but it's a small, you know, department or whatever. So everybody know, you know, they talk or whatever. So everyone in that room who I interviewed with already knew who I was. The guy who interviewed me, he even came up and told me, like, hey, do you interview with us before multiple times? Why are you, you know, still doing it? And I just basically told him, like, I'm not a quitter. Like, at the end of the day, I need a job, and I'm not going to stop until I get a job. And so, you know, everything is good. Everything is good. They're giving me feedback, and, you know, I'm thinking everything is good or whatever. And the job was for some like a counselor. Like a counselor who goes to, like, high school and try to recruit students, something like that. And so, I leave the interview and I don't hear anything. I had a trip to Barbados coming up, so I was like, well, if they gonna hire me, they need to let me know, because I got this trip where I'm about to be gone or whatever. And so time just goes by and, like, I don't hear anything from the temp agency. And so I finally called her. She didn't call me, I had to call her. And I was like, hey, what's going on with that job? Like, I haven't heard anything. And so she proceeds to tell me, like, they decided to go with a different candidate. Say what now? What? Again. And so at this, like, I go in there, I interview. Although I had reservations, I still went in there and interview, and they just go ahead and slap me in the face again over a job that I know I am well overqualified to do. And so a job also that's not paying me enough money anyway. Not only that, it was a contract position. So once again, as me trying to, you know, just go ahead and get a benefit of the doubt, I just get slapped in the face again. And at that point, I'm over it. At that point, I'm like, what is it? Like, is it me? What is it that I have that I'm not working to get a basic job here? When I say basic, I mean a job. All you're doing is answering phones and looking up information in the system and speaking to people. I have a degree in public relations. I know how to talk to people. So it's like, how can I not get a job that deals with the public, and I have a degree in public relations, and I'm in school to get a master's degree in sports management to become a manager? So how do I lack the qualifications of these jobs that I'm keep getting turned away from? How? Like, what is the problem? Is there a certain vindictive against me? Do somebody in that office not like me? Like, what is it? And if you don't like me, that's perfectly fine with me, because I'm not everybody's cup of tea. But at the same time, don't waste my time. And I felt like that's exactly what they did, was waste my time. And that's where I have an issue at, because y'all called my phone. I didn't call my phone. I didn't call y'all phone. I didn't go and apply for anything. Y'all called me. I'm pretty sure the temp agency gave you all my name. You all recognized my name, and you still asked me to come in. So you were coming after me. It was not the other way around. So that particular time, I was like, you know what? I'm over it. I think just go on my trip and enjoy myself and have a good time, because at this point, it's just nothing but a bunch of, BS that I don't have time for. And I'm just going to go ahead and enjoy myself and let it go. But you don't have to worry about me applying to anything there, or anything like that ever again. So fast forward to about November, I get another call from the temp agency, because that's one good thing though about this lady. She really called me for any job that she came across. She saw something in me, and she really did call me for any job that came across. She would always put me in the front, like, hey, go ahead and interview for this job. So around November, I get another call from her about a job. So she calls me about the job, and the job is similar in the same department that I've been going to. And I'm like, didn't I tell you? Stop sending me this. And she was like, but look, it's a whole different manager. It's a whole different department. It's the same department, but it's a different department. And so she was like, the manager's looking for someone who doesn't really have experience, someone who she could teach, someone who she can mold. And she like, go ahead and go in for this interview. And I'm like, okay. So the interview was at a different location, so I'm like, okay, I could go and interview with this person. In for the interview, and everything was good. Interviews to me are so awkward. Like, I don't like interviews because they're awkward, and I feel like a person can't really get too much of you from an interview, because not everyone is good at interviews, but they can do a job 100 times better than you may think they can by their interview. And so I went in for the interview, and interview's over, and then the recruiter at the temp agency calls me, asked me how everything went, and she was like, well, you got the job. She was like, the manager really did like you, and she really did enjoy your interview, and you're gonna start in a couple weeks. And I'm like, finally. Like, I left my job in February. I wanted to get back into working, because although I was in school, I still wanted to keep my skills intact. I didn't want to lose any work skills that I had. So when she gave me that job, I was very excited, and I was very it made me feel easier about who I am as an employee. The manager who gave me the job, she gave me reassurance that I'm an employee who is capable of learning and doing any type of task that you give her. The reason I say that is because this job is completely out of my field. I have no experience in the work that I'm doing now. And not only that, the pay was higher than the pay of those previous jobs. So that just gave me assurance that it's not always about who you are. Sometimes you just may not be you may not be everyone's cup of tea. Not saying them other people may have a problem with me, but at the end of the day, I know that me not getting them jobs had nothing to do with me not being able to do those jobs as an employee. Because if I can get a job in the field that I have no experience in, and a field that is giving me more money than what that is, you can't tell me that it's who I am as an employee or who I am as a person. Not my work ethic or what I can do as an employee. It may just be something, maybe I just wasn't a cup of tea, and that's fine. But I'm glad this person was willing to give me the opportunity to learn, gain a new skill, and teach me things that I do not know, so that way when I am in my career, I'm able to, bring more things to the table. And so the funny thing about this is, so this job is a company, and like the department of the company, they all intertwine. So the people who did not hire me on those previous interviews, I see their names, I have seen them, and I also have communicated back and forth with them on a regular basis. So now it's like, hey, you remember me? Yeah, I'm pretty sure you do remember me. Well, how you doing? So now you gotta ask me for help, huh? Nah, now you need me to do this for you. That's exactly how I look at the whole entire situation. That's how I look at life, about how everything might not work out, and maybe those just wasn't the right fit for me, and maybe this is what I need to do. So basically what I do now is I work in IT. I work in information technology. I have no background in IT. I don't know anything about IT, but I have been at this job for 6 months, and I am on a contract position, and so I'm just, you know, trying to take everything in, trying to learn as much as I can, trying to finish school, so that way when I get this master's, I'm able to argue for that more pay and finally get in a field that, or get in a career that I honestly want to do. So yeah, so that was just like a small testimony about everything that has been happening in the past 2 years. I just needed to get myself together. I needed to find a job. I needed to get money coming in. And even when I found my job, I wasn't happy in that job. So I couldn't come back to YouTube and try to put on face that I'm happy and I'm excited when I hated my job. I hated the situation with that place, and I was trying to like get out. So that is the main reason why I took a break from YouTube, was to get my personal life together. And now I feel like I'm in a position to where I can actually come back, get in front of this camera, and actually do this, because I enjoy doing YouTube. And me having like this standstill in my channel and not being where I wanted to be, I feel like if I could have continued, things would have worked out. But I feel like me leaving what was needed, and now I'm just back. And not only that, it was like I was trying to find things about, okay, well, what to do next on my channel, because I was a beauty channel, but beauty isn't the only thing that I'm good at. I love doing makeup, but sometimes makeup is so draining. Like, it's only so many eyeshadow looks, contours, date night, Christmas, New Year's Eve, Valentine's Day, smoky eye tutorials you can do. Like, I just don't want to be a beauty influencer, because I've been doing beauty since like 2014, but that's not the only thing I have. Like, I'm actually good in other fields, just not just beauty, and it's just so draining. And me recording a makeup video every single time I want to post a video will drain me. It has drained me, and I don't want that to just be what my channel is about. I don't want to just drain or bore people with makeup tutorials, because everybody's doing makeup tutorials now. So what can I do to set myself apart and still enjoy doing what I like to do, which is YouTube? So I have to, you know, come up with different things about things to do, because I just don't want to be a beauty channel. I have nothing against beauty channels. I still watch beauty channels here and there, but I just don't want to be a beauty channel, because it just gets draining sometimes. It's only, like I said, it's only so much you can do. And not only that, I'm good at other things as well. I love talking about sports. I love talking about different TV shows. I love talking about life, like the struggles of being like a millennial or trying to transition to adulthood. I've got into traveling. Sometimes I like to cook. I like to do different things to where I don't want to just be labeled as a beauty influencer. I just want to be labeled as an influencer who has different kind of trades. Like, it's a lot that I'm capable of doing. Some people like to stay in that one box because that's all they know how to do, but I do a little bit more. I know I can do a little bit more, so I just want to make sure I bring that here on my channel instead of just posting makeup videos all the time, because I'm tired. Like, I didn't even want to put this on when I was recording this video. I was tired of doing my makeup, so I just don't want to do that every single time. So moving forward, I just want to do something that would kind of not put me in a box here on YouTube, and kind of just help me better with growing my channel in other ways. And not only that, YouTube has changed a lot. YouTube is very messy and fake and stuff now, but you can't really fall into that. You have to keep your mindset going and keep your focus going, not try to fall into the trap of the fakeness and the messiness because you're trying to get 1 million followers or anything like that. Like, I don't really do it for that. I'm not necessarily looking at YouTube to be my career. Would it be nice if it could be? Yes, but at the end of the day, I have other goals that I want to accomplish other than YouTube. Like, I actually want to work a 9 to 5. I actually want to be the director or something. So I'm not gonna lose my focus of that just to do YouTube. I'm gonna do both if I can, but YouTube isn't gonna be my sole purpose because I didn't go to college. I'm not going to grad school just to be a YouTuber. And I just actually want to experience working in the field I've always dreamed of working in. And then once I'm ready to retire early, and if this happens full time, then that's great. But I do still have goals of working a 9 to 5 and getting into my dream career and doing that for a couple years of my life. So I just want to make sure that I'm in the right headspace to bring these videos to you all and to push out content, create content, and promote the content. So yeah, you can expect a lot different things here on my channel other than makeup we can relate to as millennials, and I feel like it's a lot I can talk to you all about than sit here telling you all how to apply eyeshadow and how to contour. So I just want this to be an overall channel of anything you need. I want people to be able to come here and find a video on my channel that can relate to. So y'all can really expect a lot of things from me coming up. I have so many ideas. Yeah, and I really do hope you all enjoyed this video. And if you are a subscriber who has been here since day one, thank you so much for clicking on this video. If you are new here, please hit the subscribe button, and I will see you on my next video.